And we've reached match number 3 on day 3. And it's a men's singles and brings together Chia Hao of Chinese Taipei and the man who's just become the new world #1, Kunlavut Vitidsarn of Thailand. Here's the men's singles draw. This is the bottom half, and we are concentrating on that bottom match, and it's going to set up either way. A phenomenal quarter-final against either Lo Ken Yu or Alex Lanier, who play later. And even though Vitidsarn will start a pretty warm favourite here, we've seen enough of Chia Hao in the past, especially at the All England in March, where he had a great run, to know that this is no formality, even though, as I say, the Thai is now officially top of the rankings in the men's game. They have met just the once, back in March of this year, where Vitidsarn won in straight games. There you see it.
I have black and red.
36 minutes that took.
Red, black is for you.
But Lee has his days, Bobby. We saw that at the All England. And he's one of those dangerous players you can never take for granted.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. I mean, getting to the final of the All England was a fair surprise to many people, but the way in which, the manner in which he got there, there's no argument. He had a terrific tournament. And he can be hot and cold, Chia Hao. Sometimes there are surprising first round exits, and other times he gets to the latter stages of big events.
His father was a former national champion, his sister's a pro. He was actually ranked #1 as a junior, Chia Hao, when he was 17, so that's going on a decade ago. Lost out the final of the All England to Xu Qi. Hasn't done a great deal since then, actually, which would be a concern. And he took 3 games, as you see there, to get past Liu of China in the first round.
Yeah, arguably, I was chatting to the commentator of that match, and he should have perhaps won that in straight games. But Liu Guangzhu's been in fine form lately, very competitive.
Vitidsarn officially confirmed as the world #1 a couple of days ago. Of course, the current world champion, the new Asian champion. Silver medal in the Paris Olympics, and coming in off the back of an excellent display in Singapore last week, where he took the trophy home. He's also won the Indonesia Masters and the Thai Open this year, so he's now up to 7 World Tour titles, and many more to come, you would think.
Yes, and after that meeting at the Swiss Open against Lee, in which he won, he actually lost in the quarterfinals, but since then, he's won every single match he's played. And I think that's 18, I think. This will be his 19th if he gets through this one. And, yeah, 4 World Tour titles on the bounce. The man's got to be tired.
Well, I guess you're always less tired when you're winning, they say. Like it, an injury hurts less when you're winning, doesn't it? He's also, and I say this, it's going to be the commentator's curse, but Vitidsarn used to have this nickname, didn't he, of the 3-game god. He used to quite often drop the first game, come back and win in 3. He's actually stopped doing that for the most part in recent times.
I remember the first time I read that online, and I was quite surprised because, yeah, for the last sort of 2 years, I haven't seen an awful lot of that. I think he doesn't want to take the risk when you're up against top opposition, and if you're playing against a man that can reach an All England final, it is quite a risky strategy to be relaxed in the first.
Ladies and gentlemen, on my right, Chia Hao, Chinese Taipei, and on the left, Kunlavut Vitidsarn, Thailand. Chia Hao to serve. Love all. Play.
So Lee to get us underway, and not in the fashion he would have wanted.
Service over. 1 love.
I always find it quite interesting. It's just wide, I think. Quite interesting how certain players approach certain tournaments. There is a natural, or rather an obvious, sort of peaks and troughs mentality going into years where there are key tournaments like the World Championships. He's just won the last 4 he's played. You might forgive him for relaxing a little bit at the Indonesia Open. And if he does exit the tournament, it might be just put down to the fact that he's a bit tired, he needs to go home, he wants to train or whatever. However, he can pick up more ranking points here. You only take the top 10 results, your top 10 best results of all the tournaments you've played in a certain period, and often players will have 20, even 25 tournaments to choose from, so to speak. His Indonesia Open performance last year leaves room for improvement, so he could even extend that lead at the top of the rankings this week.
I think also winning is infectious, and once you've got the taste for it, you just want more. That was wide again from Lee.
He's not far off though, but that's 2 or 3 smashes. He's just gone outside the court by an inch or so.
Well, that is the way he plays, and that's why some days he looks nigh on unplayable, and others can't do much right and makes mistakes like that.
Yeah, he reminds me of Lee Zijia in that respect, in that when he's on fire, he's almost unplayable. It's hard to beat the man, but it's high risk, and therefore the chance of making the odd mistake are more probable.
Yeah, he just doesn't have enough of those days, because it's not a percentage play. That's wide again. He has been as high as 13 in the world. That was only last month, actually, Chia Hao. But as I said, since that standout run to the final of the All England in Birmingham in March, he's not done a great deal.
Well, it's day 3 here. I'd say the arena is maybe 25–30% full.
It's making enough noise for a full stadium at times, though, isn't it?
With Indonesians on court 3, I'm finding it hard to hear myself think, let alone to hear my co-commentator. But 2 or 3 minutes played, already 9 points in the bag. This is off to an electric pace.
Service over. 3-7.
Well, Lee will feel he should have killed Vitidsarn off earlier in the rally. Couldn't do it, and in the end paid a heavy penalty.
Well, that was such a powerful movement off that left leg, and clipped the smash down perfectly at the body, just inside that right body line of Lee. Oh, how did Vitidsarn get the net back to start with?
Yeah, and that was a bit casual by Lee at the end. He almost missed this. Nearly. He was staring at it very intently.
The acoustics in here are unlike any other arena I visit. I can't believe the noise from this Istora crowd.
It's an arena in Thailand. Can't remember if it was the Thomason Yuba Cup or the Sudirman Cup a few years ago, and the roof nearly came off, and Thailand were playing in the bronze medal match. But yeah, I mean, this is exceptional, this arena. Well, that's a great first, 4 minutes work from the new world number 1. 11-4 Lee just can't get any consistency to his game, at least not yet.
No, and Kunlavut has been the picture of calmness, coolness and consistency for the most part. A bit like we were saying about Chen Yufei earlier, unfazed, lower risk, and so far that has paid dividends.
Court 1, 20 seconds. 11-4, play.
Well, he'll just be looking for more of the same here, Vitidsarn. It's better from Lee.
Service over, 5-11.
Well, I think Vitidsarn will think it was Christmas, the opening half of this game, because he didn't really have to do that much. There was one or two smashes, but otherwise, Chia Hao was all out attack and missing the court too often.
Made quite a few of those errors, didn't he, the first half of this opening game, and it's carried on the same way.
Well, that was a forced error for me. It was a brilliant little brush off by Vitidsarn. By that, I mean, he came in to hit cross and just came across the shuttle to keep it straight and into the body. It was a surprise to Chia Hao. And so I'll forgive him the mistake, but Vitidsarn, the picture of coolness.
Thank you.
Well, it was asking for the treatment, and it certainly got it.
13-5.
Delighted to see how Vitidsarn has settled into his senior career after that incredible, and it really was incredible, run of 3 straight World Junior titles. Intanon did the same, and look how her career panned out. We've seen some brilliant World Junior champions go on to do great things, Yamaguchi, Axelsen, and Vitidsarn still very young.
It puts a lot of pressure on players, I think, especially winning 3, like you said, because then everyone expects an absolutely stellar senior career, and it doesn't always work out like that. I know you mentioned a few names where it has done, but quite often it doesn't.
Yeah, one for me, we saw her play yesterday in the afternoon, Go Jin-wei, who won the World Junior title singles at 15 years old, and the world were talking about how this superstar in the making is surely going to go on to do amazing things at senior level, and it just didn't pan out that way. There's a lot more to it, isn't there? Of course, the physicality of growing up into a senior, the mental ability, and just being able to control your surroundings and deal with the pressure. Everyone finds that, or everyone handles that in very different ways, and for some, it's a difficult sort of pressure to master.
6-15. Thank you.
there is also the fact that his opposition have perhaps taken their foot off the gas a little. Axelson's been out with injury. Ginting's been out with injury. Shiuchi's form has dropped a little bit or been questionable in places. And so that has made things a little bit more comfortable for Vitidsarn.
Well, that was always going to be in by a comfortable margin. Let's follow the flight of the shuttle here. Well, that was the touch that Lee's been looking for much of his first game and hasn't really been able to find, certainly not on a consistent basis. Yeah, I don't blame him for challenging this. It may have clipped the line, but it was such a kind of low trajectory. It was very hard to tell. It might be tight, this. Plus, it gives him a little bit of a break.
Well, after that performance, I think it was yesterday, was it, for Chia Hao? I'm surprised by the scoreline today. He'll be hoping for a lot more in the second game, I've no doubt.
Thought it was close.
Challenge unsuccessful.
It's okay, but by much.
Remaining. 9-17. Play.
More excellent work from the line judge, however.
Yeah, he's just playing with a cool confidence. Almost accepting of the fact that Chia Hao might hit a few winners. Go on, hit the lines. If you do, you deserve it, but you can't keep it up for every rally. And I think Vitidsarn just backs the rest of his game to be enough.
Well, it's kind of followed a familiar pattern, hasn't it, the second half of this game so far? Just a consistent all-round display from the new world number one, and play littered with errors from Chia Hao, albeit there have been a few winners thrown in as well, but he's 2 points away from losing this opening game.
I get the sense that Chia Hao believes he has to be deadly accurate. He has to hit these winners to have any chance to beat Vitidsarn. And in truth, I think if he brought that margin for error in a little bit, this game would actually be very competitive.
That's wide again, and here are a whole load of game points, 10 of them for the tie.
I'd love to have the statistic, but I would say 10 to 15 of Vitidsarn's points have come from Chia Hao missing the court.
Feels about right.
Late decision from the tie.
He got away with it, though, didn't he? Can he finish it here? Yes, he can. Another error from Lee. And in just a quarter of an hour, the world number one takes the opening game here, 21 points to 10.
Well, Vitidsarn must be thinking, what did I do to deserve this?
Second game, love all, play.
Second game underway then, and shot quality showcased in the opening rally.
1-love.
What a great net shot from Vitidsarn. For a moment I thought it was too high, but Chia Hao couldn't get there.
I'd have that line of commentary on a loop because he's been chasing lost causes, isn't he, for pretty much the whole match thus far. And those kind of errors just keep repeating.
Amazing how on his day Chia Hao looks like a world beater and deserves everything he gets, like a, you know, silver, so to speak, at the All England. And then other days, the amount of errors. I mean, yes, you're playing the best man in the world right now. That's granted. But to be in a controlling, attacking position and miss the court so often, I can't see how he'll feel comfortable with that.
Well, that was good. And the thing with Lee is that he can go from the two extremes that you were just talking about. He can go from one to the other within the same match. Would not be the most ridiculous surprise if he manages to turn it on here in the second game.
Not at all, even from this position after losing to 10. If he plays at his very best, or rather continues to play as he's playing but keeps the shuttle in, he could even beat Vitidsarn. That wouldn't be the most surprising thing in the world. The problem is, he doesn't seem to be able to have that temperament.
Yeah, there's not much history between them. We mentioned just the one previous meeting, and that was just a few months ago. So it's not like there's
Thank you.
any kind of an intimidation factor from Lee's point of view.
Sometimes he's just too eager.
That was a weak backhand, wasn't it?
I think he was undecided. He might have chosen to leave this. Yeah, let it drop. Could have taken that a lot earlier, and I think it was because he was considering leaving that to go out wide.
Right, so that goes to not positive enough decision-making.
Absolutely.
Well, that was a weird leave from Vitidsarn, because that was in by a big margin.
I can see him smiling even now.
Just lost his bearings, I think, here. I mean, look how far that was in by.
Very odd, and he was right underneath it too.
That's in as well.
4-5.
Well, it's nothing like a quick game. 21 minutes, and it's 1-love and 5-3. 5-4, I beg your pardon.
Good reactions from both players, in fact. Well, that's one of the best rallies Chia Hao's played.
And that's how good he can be.
5-4.
Now, he can ask questions of the new world #1.
Not that many players who can combat Vitidsarn in the mid-court. All or nothing shots for Vitidsarn there. So low below the tape, had to go for the cross net. And just popped up a bit too nicely for Chia Hao.
Thank you.
Well, I don't blame him for asking Hawkeye to check this, because I think this is really close too.
Yeah, when it left his racket, I instinctively thought that's the best shot he's hit so far, but it might have just crept wide.
Challenge
Well, it has
unsuccessful.
by 2 or 3 centimetres.
6-5. Play.
Well, Lee was never in front in the first game. This is the first time he's been ahead in the second. So if he continues to cut out the unforced errors, then it puts the onus much more on Vitidsarn to be a little more aggressive rather than just get all these freebies that he has been from his opponent.
See, you don't want to be...
Service over.
Just a little tap on his own head there. Frustration showing. Because he's got a chance here now. He's very much in the second game. Unusually, if I'm Vitidsarn, I wouldn't be challenging that. I wouldn't be doing that in the mid-court. Because Chia Hao is proving to be one of the players that can more than cope with that lightning-fast reaction of shot and the strength of wrist to get the shuttle either to the back of the court or the skill to play to the net off a fast shot in the mid-court. Normally, that's Vitidsarn's bread and butter. He's so strong there. But I'd be playing soft net and high lift. I'd be moving him around the court, like we said Chen Yufei was doing so well.
Service over.
Well, gets the cheap point back. Well, all of a sudden, it's turned around here.
9-6.
Few errors from the tie, fewer errors from the man from Chinese Taipei, and that's why the scoreboard's got a somewhat different look now.
Good rally from Lee. Vitidsarn actually, almost as I was hoping for, took out the mid-court.
Thank you.
But shot quality, of course, all important when you play like that. You've got to be prepared for the longer rallies and to be able to play with a lot more consistency too. Well, the trick shot almost came off. But there again, this is Vitidsarn challenging him in the mid-court. Next shot, this one, and getting beat. And that's why I was saying earlier, I wouldn't advise that against Chia Hao. Well, that's a lovely rally from Vitidsarn.
Service over.
Gets the lift he was looking for.
10.
Well, actually, he wasn't even looking for it. He just hit a brilliant shot with this jump out.
Thank you.
Well, that was a big chance. That was a bad miss from Lee. Look where he was when he hit this, the mid-court, and he's missed that by good 4 or 5 inches.
He's very much a confidence player. You can see that. And interestingly, there haven't been that many times in the second game where Vitidsarn has dominated and hit the floor with a winner. The previous rally he had, and now Chia Hao's making mistakes again.
Yeah, and basically that was another great opportunity because Vitidsarn nearly left the previous shot, and when he did decide to play it, it was nowhere near deep enough, and this time Lee dragged his shot wide. Bit like golf, isn't it? When you're missing one to the right and then one to the left, you're wondering what on earth's going on. If it's the same consistent error, it's a little easier to correct, but that was, technically, that was just not right.
Thank you.
Yeah, rotated a bit too much through the body, perhaps. Or it might have been in the wrist, but this is where that consistency needs to be there for a whole game. Well, this time he finds that same shot and finds the winner.
So he has the advantage, but he's been so in and out, you just have no idea where this game's going next. Nonetheless, Lee's ahead.
ไม่เป็นไรเราก็พยายามเอากลับนะทีนี้ช้ามาต้องช่วยพอเราเล่นเต็มที่เลย
Fourth ball, 20 seconds.
ไม่เป็นไร
Coaches, Badminton coaches.
บุกก็บุกรับก็รับมีจังหวะบ้างถ้าเกิดว่าเรา
Players
เริ่มช้า
back
เรา
on
ไปเตรียม
court. Play.
Short lift. Oh, brilliant defense.
Fantastic shot.
Service over.
Part reaction, part technique,
11.
and just part instinct from Vitidsarn.
Look how far back Vitidsarn positioned himself, though. Knowing his lift was short, expecting the smash, he gave himself every chance. That's very clever from the Thai.
Well, we've barely played a minute after the interval, and all of a sudden, Vitidsarn's back in front again. Story of Lee's match so far.
Yeah, and again, Lee gets beaten by a shot, and then the next rally or two, can't keep the shuttle in himself. Well, the court is about to get mocked because of that dive. It's soaking wet down there now.
Yeah, there were a couple of shots earlier in the rally. I wondered if Vitidsarn actually had to play them. A couple might have been going wide, but we'll never know. In the end, all's well that ends well for Chia Hao.
Still get the sense that anything could happen in this match yet. Simply due to the inconsistency of Chia Hao.
Service over. 13-12.
Well, that was perfectly placed from Lee.
Over. 13.
Yeah, cannot have been the best serve to allow your opponent to attack you like that. Or it might have been a very good sort of anticipation, second guess almost from Lee. Clever from Vitidsarn this time, going strong in the mid-court.
14-13.
Well played, really well played.
Service over. 14.
Keeping up the intensity and pressure here.
Well, he might have a burning sense that he didn't really do himself justice in the first game, Lee, which is probably true. Making a much better fist of it in the second.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be watching that opening game back
14.
He probably actually should be made to. I think his coach should make him do that. Just show him how many unforced errors he made and how easy he made life for his opponent.
With the court, please.
Well, there is a commitment to how Chia Hao is playing, and it is undaunting because there's no sort of plan B. There's no kind of, okay, I'm missing lots, let's just narrow the margin for error, let's try and play with a bit more consistency and thought.
Thank you.
The obvious thing would be to slow things down and play a slightly longer game. Look for the corners, try and tire Vitidsarn out, but perhaps he feels like that would just be playing into the Thai's hands. I don't know.
He's very concerned, Vitidsarn, about his footing on that side of the court. I noticed a few points ago he nearly slipped over and he was just trying to do some extra drying with his shoes before serving.
Service over. 15-16.
Long, and now leads right in this 16-all.
16-all.
I think the drying of the shoes thing, two things going on. I think these courts being brand new, that change of colour, and there were conversations earlier in the week about how it's the first time they've been used.
Thank you.
That will make players a bit more cautious because they can find it difficult. And we've seen a few slips this week. And secondly, Vitidsarn's a solid, sort of stocky kind of player, isn't he? And so explosive. Well, as you can tell, the noise in the arena making it hard for me to even hear myself. Istora crowd, as always.
And it's only Thursday.
So vocal. Yeah, exactly.
So Lee again fighting back here.
17.
And this second game going right to the wire by the look of it, thanks to that little net cord. He's back on level terms.
Well, I thought that was going to land in all the way, and there's no challenge from Chia Hao. Tiniest bit of side drift, just an inch or two, carrying this out. What a great leave.
Yeah, that replay showed you perfectly. He missed the line. Might have been going wide, but it doesn't matter.
19.
Well,
17.
that was a very soft, almost weak-looking net shot from Lee. Not even halfway up the net in the end. Huge advantage again now for the world number one.
So, 3 match points
20.
for Kunlavut Vitidsarn.
17.
Can Lee find something spectacular to prolong this round of 16 match?
Play.
Well, it's possible.
No, the answer's no.
Game.
It's out, and so is Chia Hao. Beaten in straight games by the new world number one. 21-17 in that second game. And he might take some beating this week, you suspect?
Match won by
I think Lee will be left to
21-10, 21-17.
rue the number of errors that he made in the match. Better in the second game, without question, but still too many.
I was going on to say about consecutive points. I was surprised to see that Chia Hao actually had 5 consecutive points at one point because he was so erratic in the match. That's unexpected. I don't think Vitidsarn was at his best today, personally. I think he possibly had a gear to go into, but he got the job done.
21-10, 21-17 in 40 minutes on court.